Many times I was just like mentioning in the first hour meeting that the religion was a very important part of this performative history of Polish people, but still very important are markers. Any gathering of humans that people come together for any reasons, could be economical reason, always was accompanied by kind of religious performances. And unfortunately, we don't have many of these testimonies because of these disasters, these wars, these invasions that we experienced as a Polish people. And so many of these documents were burned, destroyed. One that survived is this play, which is amazingly important for many reasons. It's called Image of the Death of the Blessed John the Baptist. Jakub Gawatowicz was the author of the play. It was performed at the market in a very small city, Kamionka Strumiłowa, near modern Tarnów, in 1619, with two intermedia in old Ukrainian language. This is the earliest testimony of the Ukrainian drama. These two intermedia are extremely funny. Of course, these are peasants, and one is clever and smart, and two or three of accompanying him friends are stupid, and he is manipulating them. My favorite one is this: they have one in Polish pierog, just like pie, but they have only one. And so how to manage, and they are free. How can we eat this? And so this smart one says, let's say that we go to sleep, and whoever will have better dream, this one will get the pie. And of course, they go to sleep, but only two of them actually are sleeping. The one, the smart one, is just eating the pie. And so that's kind of, humor. And the second one is also about the one smart and very bad character who is tricking the very honest merchant, taking all this object of him and making him being beaten. And so this kind of, that the sense of humor was in humiliating one another, which for us is very controversial today, but still this was this intermedia at the time. And the play itself is very classical, nothing really interesting. This guy saw Saint John the Baptist. He, for the whole play, has these monologues. And this is an example of his kind of lesson to the people. He thunders, "O lizard nation, how long will you wait in sins? How long will you be giving birth to ungodly iniquity? Why do you not know, you creature? Why do you not keep the paths and his command?" And it goes like this forever. The modern staging, very, very rarely it was staged in Polish history of theater. The most recent staging by the theater Chorea in Łódź, post-Gotowski theater. People who are using bodies as a source of the theater acting. And as you can see, very beautiful images, but the staging itself, I would say, so. Another example of this religious power of religion are preachers. And probably one of the most, in terms of theater, interesting preacher was Tomasz Młodzianowski. As you can see, this is 7th century. He thunders in one of his sermons. The woman came to her confessor and confessed with great tears that she had sinned by touching herself. And she was confessing on such an occasion that the devil was crouching behind the wall. And 3 times he cried with a great roar, "Fy, fy, fy, fa, fa." So theater is used here as a kind of lesson to be learned, and many of these preachers' sermons were using this kind of theatrical imagination that the devil comes, or in one sermon he is speaking about the body, that you touch yourself, your body deteriorates, your body is partially destroyed, is rotten, and this kind of images that should make impression or shock people. And this power of religion is still in Poland today. Look here, Polish pilgrimages in 2016. 500 religious centers are visited by 7 million Poles each year. Here you have this main center. Unfortunately, it's not a good image in this slide, but you can see in this, the word, this means 1,000. So we got 1.5 million in Krakow, in Kalwaria Zbrodowska, almost 1 million. And so as you can see, these sanctuaries for these pilgrimages are all over the Poland. Of course, the most populous is the middle, the center, Częstochowa. Częstochowa is something like spiritual capital of Poland, with this monastery and huge church, with this image of this Holy Mother Maria, which is for us the most sacred religious image. And so this is religious power in action. Their processions are going all over the Poland like that, and they are always identified with Polish, as you can see, symbols. And so this is the conservative Poland, which identifies Polish nation or Polish identity with Catholic religion, which of course is extremely problematic. But if you look at Częstochowa and the amount of people visiting this Częstochowa, 4 million people a year, this is a really strong and powerful power. And this is still going on. So this Poland is very still a religious country in a way. And we have many calvaries, and so stages for the Passion of Christ. You can see this space everywhere in Poland. There is a space which is being used as a stage for the Passion. And the most famous, of course, is in Kalwaria Zbrodowska. This is in the southeast Poland. The Way of the Cross, or Via Crucis, in Kalwaria Zbrodowska, once in a year, is attended by thousands of people, and this is powerful Passion theater. There is always the greatest respect for the person who offers himself to portray the Christ, because sometimes the soldiers are really beating the person. This is something that we know from the Philippine Islands. It happens all over the world, but still in Poland, in many places, this is visited by mass attendance, and of course, theatricality of this is very spectacular. They have costumes for the soldiers. These are historical costumes, which of course are not correctly historical, but still they pretend to be the ancient. And the person who performs the Christ is really humiliated, and it has to go all this way up to the Golgotha, up to the Calvaria. And very often the attendance of this performance is made by the sect of the most radical Catholics. You can see here they have special coats with the image of the Christ the King. These are soldiers of the King, the Christ the King. And so these people are always busy in protesting against blasphemous theater, against anything that is to be protested. And of course, the most funny thing is that they have usually have no idea what they are against. They are just called to action. There are some politicians who are using them as a kind of private army. And whenever you don't like a situation of art or whatever, you call them, and they are just coming with these powerful images on the back of the Christ the King, and they are singing religious songs. It looks like, of course, they have kind of agency, but it's not.